day, okay? So a contraction in grammar, what is it? Anyone? Anyone? What's a contraction? All right, Coulter, what's a contraction? Okay. Oh wait, sorry, I cut you off. What is 2 words what?
Made into one.
Okay, 2 words made into one. Okay? That's exactly right. Thank you, Coulter. Raise your hand if you can think of an example of a contraction that we use. Let's go with Kinley. Okay, can't. So can't is a perfect example. Where does that come from? What 2 words?
Cannot.
Okay, good. So can't is actually can not. Okay, good. Let's go with Brooklyn. I'm. Okay. And what does that mean? I am. All right. Carson. Won't. What is won't? Okay, won't is actually will not. Okay? Alright, what's another one? Matthew. Okay? Didn't? And what does it mean? Okay, so before we go any farther, let's look at these. So what is happening when we combine the words? What happens when we combine these 2 words? I hear extra comments, but I don't need those. Raise your hand if you know what happens when we combine those 2 words. Let's go with Myra.
It's almost like the comma replaces something because it takes out the word and makes a contraction.
Okay, perfect example.
Do you have your Pokemon cards that you're going to?
I actually already put them up.
And have you guessed?
No.
Okay, I'm going to give that to you. You can guess and pass it around the 3rd grade. I'll just second grade instead. I will.
Thank you. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so I liked what Myra said. So Myra talks about how the comma, she said it almost like replaces some of the letters to make the contraction. And that is exactly right. The comma does replace some of the letters. So can we just take any 2 words we want and form a contraction?
No.
No, right? There are certain contractions, right? And so, yes, a contraction does take part of the word and form it. You can kind of see a common thing if we're saying, like, if it has not in it, you can kind of see that most of the time we're going to just replace the O and put I just went bit. What is it called? Apostrophe, okay? And then on some of these other ones, you can see that it just replaced like the A there. Will not and won't is a little bit different one. But for the most part, we normally just replace the apostrophe with one of the letters and it forms a contraction, okay? So today, to help us work with contractions and make sure we know how to use them and form them, we're going to look at comic strips, okay? And the reason we're going to look at comic strips is because comic strips oftentimes use a lot of contraction. Why would comic strips use lots of contractions? Anyone got a guess? Evelyn?
I think it's for the.
I can't hear you. What?
I think it's one.
Yes, a contraction does form 2 into 1, but why would you see that more in comic strips rather than maybe just books? Olivia, what do you think?
Because a comic strip is supposed to be short.
Yeah, because most time in comic strips, do you have a lot of room? No, a lot of times comic strips are like in little bubbles, right? And you don't have a lot of room, so they want to make it short. Also, we use contractions all the time in our actual speech, okay? For example, I would not say, I am coming over to your house. I'd just say, I'm coming over to your house. Why? Because it's shorter, it's quicker, right? And so in comic strips, we use that a lot. So one of the comic strips I want to show you, just so we understand, is a school-related one. We'll see what you guys think. See if you like this. All right. So here is one example. It says, he was trying to go to school again, and as I'm sure you're well aware, some kids have allergies. Nobody gets it?
No. I do. Oh, I do. Kids have allergies because they're allergic.
Alright, what are these?
Peanuts.
Peanuts. So you get how like all over the school there's always peanut allergies, like out of every classroom it talks about peanut allergies. So that's why it's funny, because he's not allowed to go to school. So this is a police officer who said he was trying to go to school again, and as I'm sure you're well aware, some kids have allergies.
I get it.
So he can't go to school because he's a peanut.
Yeah, I wish I was a peanut.
Oh, I can't believe you guys didn't think that was funny.
It's not.
Okay, however, let's look. What contractions do we have in there? Kaya? So we have I'm. We already talked about that one. That means I am. And what other one do we have? Right there, Tessa. Okay, we have your. Okay. And so with this one, raise your hand if you know what it stands for. What 2 words is that? James? You are. Okay, and do not get this confused with its homophones of your, okay? Because this is very different from this. This does not mean you are. Only this does, okay? So don't get that confused. However, these are perfect examples of contractions. So now, what you guys are going to do is, on your Chromebooks, you're going to go to Google Classroom, and I have attached a site, okay? And on that site is where you can create a comic strip. So you're going to create a comic strip, and the only rules is that in your comic strip, you need to include 4 contractions.